Alright. Alright, my name is Ray. I'm back. I love Sonic Heroes, don't you forget that. And yeah, decided to go live just because why not, right? I haven't had the time to properly do a lot of content that I wanted to do. Well, I've been recording a lot of content, but or at least a couple of vids, I should say, but just haven't had the time to upload it. So that's why I decided to get on here and try to give a little update, because actually, let me just make sure this is good. Yeah, actually, I just got done, not too long ago doing Sonic Rush, one of the best 2D Sonic games in the series. And I just kind of wanted to do a little update on what's next, I guess, and what I want to do, especially if I can find the time to do what that is, versus other things that I have going on, which kind of conflicts with me doing, I guess, YouTube stuff, I guess, unfortunately. But yeah, but I want to try to just make sure everything is good with my screen as always. But yeah, I want to try to find a good balance of both, because I don't want to just be too long that I'm away, and the channel just going cold or whatever, because I do want to do this, because I love Sonic or whatnot. It's just, again, I have a lot of things going on, that conflicts with me just being on here all the time like I want to. But for anyone that ever does watch, or you do enjoy the content, even if you don't even if you don't I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but even if I don't even know who you are and you do enjoy it or find some enjoyment in what I'm doing, I guess thank you, that means a lot. When I first started this channel, and even when I have been doing this for a year now, I still kind of find me still getting used to certain things. So I think it's still kind of a little bit weird to me. But if you do like what I do, I do appreciate that, because it just kind of I guess interesting in that way, because I'm just a regular guy that loves Sonic, just a regular person, I don't really try to do anything that's out of the ordinary, I just I'm just me, if that makes sense, I'm just me. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna be screaming for too long, because I'm not playing anything. That is, I just want to make this I guess an update, if you want to call it that, whatever it's gonna be called, unless anyone ever comments or anything like that, then I will respond, but yeah, I just want to give a little update on what I'm doing, actually, or what I'm trying to do next. So with that being said, I'm gonna let this I'm not playing the game here. As you see, this is the greatest Sonic game ever created, I should say, but I'm not playing. It's just a recording that I did on my own time months and months ago. For whatever reason, I just felt like recording this or whatever. But I will do this game, I will do it eventually. Just have to, again, find the right time and order, because I am right now currently in the process, my goodness, I can't seem to talk at time. In the process of trying to record Sonic 06, that is. I'm really enjoying that, again, especially just me recording, surprisingly, and doing that game. I mean, I did enjoy Rush too, but I'm finna get on that in a moment, But yeah, I'm just let this gameplay vid just play out here, I guess, while I'm talking, if that made sense. But yeah, with that being said, though, I guess I want to clarify, though, that when it comes to the games that I want to do in the Sonic series, that is, I'm not gonna do them I don't want to really record them or play them in chronological order, if that makes sense. I really don't want to do that. I kind of just want to, I guess, do them as I go, or whichever one I feel is best for me to do next, Cause I was doing Sonic Rush, and I really did enjoy that. Enjoy playing that, I should say, because that's one of the best 2D Sonic games to me, at least, or at least my second favorite. But yeah, really enjoyed that playthrough, I guess, for the little bit that I did of that game, or how short it took for me to actually record the vids. Just took a while for me to get them up, because again, due to just me not being able to be on here all the time or whatnot. Also, I think that, what can I say? Also, I think that I think that if I kind of try to balance, this is what I was wanting to say, because it's hard for me to try to remember what I'm going to say at times. If I do I'm trying to balance, if I do balance it right in terms of how I record, I guess, and things like that, and how I just do certain games of the series, and the timing that I do it, and all of that stuff when I can. I think that's the best way I want to go about it, in terms of just not being too far away for a long time, but also not being trying to push out as much as I can, because I'm trying to do this for fun, if that makes sense. So I'm not trying to do this for profits, or to even just gain subscribers or anything like that, even though again, all the support is will be welcome, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just do this for fun, because I love Sonic, and that's the reason I decided to really just get into this in the first place, because the thing about it is, I didn't never think I was gonna be doing this, if that makes sense, so it's, I kind of just decided to do this out of the blue a whole year ago, because I had some people just, that was close to me, just tell me to give it a try, right? You know what I mean? Then, and I love Sonic, so I guess that was the main thing that I would want to do, even though I do play other games as well, like I said in a previous video that I did, just to make sure this laptop is right, because so I'm checking my screen right now, since I don't have a second monitor at the moment. That is, my main setup, that is. So seems like everything is still good, but yeah. Also, what I want to say is, after doing Sonic Rush, I do want to do Sonic Rush Adventure, but I never played that game before, like I said, so that'll be completely new to me. And when I'm completely blind to games, I tend to I do want to play them on my own first, before I just either record it or go live playing it or whatever, you know what I mean, just to get a feel of said game, or said Sonic game, and just see what I can play around with, and how I can learn the game, if the game is good, that is, or if I like it to that extent to even want to do that with a Sonic game, if that makes sense, So for example is what I mean, Sonic Colors, right, is a decent 3D Sonic game, even though I'm being generous calling it 3D, because it's a lot of 2D in that game that I do not like. But Sonic Colors is a decent 3D Sonic game, right? But it's not my favorite, to me it's C tier at best. So I don't really have the incentive to, or the motivation to get good at colors, anything like that, because I don't really, it's not one of my favorite Sonic games to play, if that makes sense. And if I don't feel that way about it, I don't really have a urge or a sense to want to learn the game in and out, or just play around with it to see what's the best way I can play it if I don't really like it or love it to a certain extent, But yeah, so with Colors, I might just wing it. I haven't played that in a very long time as well, so I may be even rusty at Colors. But again, it's not my favorite 3D Sonic game in this series, or not near my favorite 3D Sonic game, so I'm not gonna probably not gonna try to give decent gameplay at Colors, even though Colors is really easy, so that shouldn't really be a problem anyway, though. But And speaking of that game, I just realized that that game is approaching like 15 years old or whatever, man. And that is crazy because I remember like when I was 10, the same year it was coming out, and seeing the commercials on it on TV. Um, one time I think or whatever, and you know, this was around the same time where I found out about the demos of like Heroes and Adventure 1, on PC at that time, and the classics and all of that. It was around that same time, so, or a little bit before that, I think, because like Colors was coming out like in that winter time, from what I remember. But but I found out about like the GOAT, which that's what you're seeing on screen, and the original GOAT, Adventure 1, the demos of those. I think that was like around the earlier part in the year, because I was in like the 5th grade at that point. But to make a long story short, Colors like is turning like 15, and that's kind of crazy because I just remember way back then, like it doesn't seem that long ago, man, when I was like a 10-year-old. But how do time fly, man? So, but yeah, I don't really know. Why did I bring up Colors again, man? Oh yeah, I was talking about like why I'm not gonna have the incentive to really get good or try to really like go for good runs in like a Sonic game that I don't really like that, just because I don't feel any need to do that, if that makes sense. So, but I will see though, if I get to Colors eventually. Rush Adventure though, it doesn't look as good as Rush from what I've seen of it though, just from me playing it or whatnot. It doesn't look nowhere near as good as Sonic Rush in terms of gameplay, cause like Rush is goated because it keeps you like on your toes, and a lot of people complain about the pits and all of that, but again, I urge, if you just do this with every Sonic game, you can apply this philosophy to mostly every Sonic game, which is play around with the levels. You will learn them more over time, you know what I mean? And maybe that's not what people play Sonic games for, not all people, but that's what I find my enjoyment out of Sonic games that I do like, that is to do. So and the pits won't be that bad, in Rush, that is. But Rush Adventure still looks cool though. It looks like it still be like a good game. It just doesn't seem like the level design will be as good as Rush, in my opinion, just from what I've seen of it. And the music, from what I heard, is not as good as Rush either, so it is something that I kind of just take away from it. But I still have to play it for myself, but I just have a feeling that I'm not gonna like it more than Rush, though by no means, you know what I mean? But stranger things can happen, but I kind of doubt it though when it comes to that. Another Sonic game that I haven't played before is Colors DS, which I seen people say it's better than the Wii one. I never played it. I seen gameplay of it as well, and it does look better than the 2D and the Wii one, because the 2D and the Wii one is very blocky and very I don't like it, you know what I mean? But I will explain that when I criticize that game for kind of how I feel about it, but just give my opinions, just shine them, that is. If you like it, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. It just just kind of how I feel, personally, because I grew up with the adventure era stuff first and the classic games first, even though Colors was coming out at the same time I was finding out about Sonic in the first place, but I didn't start with Colors though, so it's like a unique story for me, because like Colors was coming out the same year I found out about Sonic like that, and I didn't start with Colors. I started with the classic games and the demos of this game and Adventure 1, so that's kind of unique, I guess, to me. But yeah, I don't know why my laptop is going off here, hold on. Alright, so yeah, man. Well, I guess I have to say on this. Yeah, so I don't know when I would do Rush Adventure, because I think you got to use a stylus for that, And again, I don't have a real DS because I didn't grow up with one, and I don't know how that works like on an emulator. And I think I do know how it works because you got to use like the mouse, but I don't know if like would that be efficient or something. But I would have to check Rush Adventure out when I can just to see about it, I guess. But on my own time, before I ever do decide to try to cover it or something like that, if I'm going to do that in the future. Also, what else I want to say? What else? Oh, I am in the process of doing Sonic 06. Like I said, I just gotta find the time to get the vids done and all of that type of stuff or whatnot, so I can upload them, But Sonic 06, I really do like that game a lot. The base 06, not P06 or anything added to it. The original base 06 on the emulator, I must clarify, not on console. But the emulating it, it's the best way to play the game until a decomp comes out or something like that, or the recompilation does get released, I guess. Which I am hoping for and waiting for, if that makes sense, because I do want to enjoy that game at a smooth 120 FPS, man. That would be the dream. But yeah, what else must I say? What else must I say here? What else must I say? After Sonic 06, I may want to do Sonic Adventure 2. But I just have to see which version do I want to do, because I could do the Steam version, I could do the GameCube version, or I could do the Dreamcast version. So I have to see. I'm leaning more towards doing the Dreamcast version though. I have played all three of them, extensively, so I'm familiar with all versions of Adventure 2, but I have to see what do I feel about it though. So which one do I feel? Well, not what do I feel about it, but which one do I feel like covering, if that makes sense, But I will get into that at another time, though, hopefully soon. Yeah. I don't know what else I really want to talk about though, man, because I don't know what it be, man. When I'm not recording or when I'm not going live, I can just think of things just like that. But I have brain farts or brain freezes every time I try to get the next thing out. You know what I mean? It's not me not being used to talking at this point, because I've been doing this for a year now. But I'm trying to think what the crap next or that do I want to say, man. I do want to cover more Sonic fan games, but again, I have my my criticisms of some of those, especially the 3D Sonic ones, because I particularly don't like how some of them feel, because I think they're too responsive or too momentum-y, and I don't think it needs that much momentum for a Sonic game or a 3D Sonic game, a 3D Sonic fan game, but it's some of them that I do like, it's just I have to see when it comes to those. But I do want to do Sonic before the sequel and after the sequel though, because I don't really play too much of Sonic fan games in general anymore. So I know I covered Rush, Sonic Re-Rush or whatever that was called, but that was a goated, project, you know what I mean? So I hope do get finished. I don't think it will. I'll be surprised if it will, but I hope that they do work on that and finish it though, because that would be the best 2D Sonic fan game of all time. And if that does, fully gets done, but that's just my opinion. But I don't know what else though. I don't know what else to say though. I do want to do oh yeah, I was saying I don't play too many Sonic fan games in general anymore though, especially the classic Sonic ones, because also when I was younger, I played a lot of classic Sonic 2D fan games as well. So kind of just got burnt out by that, because I played so much of the classic stuff back then, because I couldn't run a lot of the 3D Sonic games back then. I didn't have all the hardware for it, the consoles and all of that, or PC just wasn't strong enough back then, or using my father's laptop and nothing like that. I couldn't even emulate DS games on my old crappy laptop that I had back then. That's how bad it used to be, man. But I still try to play it though, man. That's the crazy part about it, man. but that's all I had, right? You know, I was just a young kid, man, you know. But I remember them days, like I really remember them days, you know. That's why they called me Ray, man, you know. So, but anyway, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just rambling on, talking stupid. I guess this is just a little update, if you even want to call it that. Yeah, I want to do 06. I'm not trying to do all of 06 at one time, like all the stories, because I gotta get more familiar with Silver's and Shadow story, if that makes sense. Because Sonic story in 06 is the most one I'm familiar with the most, and the second would be Silver, but I'm still not that familiar with Silver's story, but I'm decent at it though. But I may scream those. I have to see though, you know, just because I'm not that familiar with them, you know, when I find the time to do that. So anything else that I can think of, man, to talk about, because I don't think I can think of anything else. I'm doing 06, I finished Rush. I do want to redo the classic games, but in a different way this time around, though. And I will speak more on that when I do that, and with commentary. That is not commentary, but you know how I've been doing it. You know, give my thoughts, commentary, reactions, but you know, mostly just want to play though. You know what I mean? While also just, you know, not being completely silent. You know what I mean? At the same time, you know, I think that's my perfect balance. If I could fully concentrate and play a Sonic game at the level that I can, at a decent type of run, like to have a decent run and talk at the same time, trust me, I would, you know. But I just can't do that because I'm just, you know, I'm not able to talk at the same time and go for a good run when it comes to a 3D Sonic game or a 2D Sonic game or whatever you want to call it, you know. But yeah, but so far though, I've been enjoying 06, recording that though, I will say that. Let me actually get some water here though, man, because, you know, my mouth is getting dry as crap, man, just talking. It is getting dry as crap. Yeah, I'm stretching, by the way, so if you hear me. Hold on, give me one moment, I'll be right back. Let me take a sip of water, man. Alright, that's more like it though. Oh my goodness, my mouth is dry as hell though when I'm talking. I don't know why. I have no idea why, man. But I'm gonna change the video here actually, man, you know. Cause since I'm doing this in real time, I'm not editing or anything like that. Or I'm not editing these clips, I'm just doing this in real time. Let's put up some Adventure 2 gameplay on the screen, cause why not, you know. But yeah, I think that's all I gotta say though. 06, I think after 06 I probably want to do, or at least after Sonic Story 06, I want to do Adventure 2. And after Adventure 2 I may do Generations, my third favorite 3D Sonic game, that is. May do Generations, or may do Unleash. I have to see. I'm actually trying to think right now, but I'm not even sure, man. Just think on my own time. Like, unless someone really requests me to want to like cover something, you know. So they gotta check out those Sonic games on Roblox that someone was telling me about, man. Because I seen a little gameplay of some of those, you know. But I never touched Roblox in a day of my life. I'm just being honest with you. I never touched Roblox like at all, like not even one time in my life. So I don't even know like what that game even looks like, you know what I be like. I have to check it out all the way because I was like, they made this in Roblox, like this looks like something that would be like just a regular fan game, or like a 3D Sonic fan game or something. But you know. So I still like have to check that out when I can though, cause that did look interesting though. I'm not gonna lie, but I may just do that on my own time, and if I find it interesting enough for me to cover, then I may like make a video on it or something like that, or you know, upload it or whatever I can do with it. So, but with that being said though, I think that's all I gotta say, cause I'm just talking and talking on. So next time though, I guess I'll try to do my 06, try to finish that up, or try to at least get the first half of that recording on here soon, you know. Hopefully I can do that, you know. So the next 2D Sonic game that I do want to cover though, I guess, is, because I did Rush, right? So I may redo the classics, but in a different way. Like I said, I may just do that, you know. And even Knuckles Chaotix, because I did play that as well when I was younger on the emulator back then, you know. So I have a nostalgia for Knuckles Chaotix, even though it's not the best like 2D type of Sonic game by no means, but I have huge nostalgia for it though, you know. I don't know how many people can say that honestly about that game, but I was one of those kids that grew up again like with Sega, with Kega Fusion emulator, you know, back then when I was, you know, just 10, 11, 12 years old, man. So, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna stop the rambling. As you know, my name is Ray. You never forget that the greatest 3D Sonic game ever created is Sonic Heroes. I love that game to death. You should love it too. Never give up. You never give in, even on your worst days. Because I have them at times, so that's why I say that, you know. Stay true to you. You know what I mean? But, yeah. And just to clarify that, you know, because you know, I thought of these outros that I wanted to say like on my own time. Like that's how much I thought about doing this. You know what I mean? Just figure out like what do I want to say, but just don't let it sound corny. But just be me, how I am. You know why? Well, no. Let me rephrase that. It may do sound corny, and I may try to make it sound corny, but it's YouTube, man. So like, who cares, right? You know, it's just entertainment, and I'm just doing this for fun, right? So I don't really care. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, you know, but yeah, you never give up even on your worst days, you know. If that made sense, you know. I honestly didn't even feel like going live right now to do this, but because, you know, I'm just not feeling the best right now. But you know, but I also do want to make more content, you know. So, you know, so I just want to give you more into me, and hopefully I will, you know, open up more to, you know, me soon to whoever is watching, you know what I mean, just in due time, or if anyone ever wants to interact, you know, that is, or comment or whatever like that, you know, and ask me whatever you want, long as it's, you know, not too much of a personal questions, but you know what I mean. But you know, if you want to ask semi, you know, if you know, if I, you know, I will let you know if I feel like answering or not, you know, or anything like that, if someone ever does like, you know, comments or anything. But with that being said though, you never give up, you never give in. My name is Ray. I already said that. I think I gotta say that. I gotta say that one time. I think I'm getting used to saying it twice. You know who I am. Till next time though, be safe, peace.